Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. We have a new look. I promise you it's real, even though last week's video I did not have it. I upload at different times. Was that one filmed a while ago and we're back in a new trend now? Absolutely. But I have this fun little Simpsons shirt for you. And more importantly, I have some wonderful advice. I recently was like, not recently, recently, I was on social media, as one is to do. And a big thing that's been happening over the past like 2 to 3 weeks has been the West Ciara situation on Summer House. If you follow Bravo, I don't really follow Summer House, but I tell you, I was watching that reunion and I was eating the clips and watching stuff from the season just because what happened, people have been very angry about it. And I think there's some division, and I think there's a lot of clarity that could be learned. And since, I give relationship advice, I figured it would be a topic to discuss. So before we jump into it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And comment your thoughts about like not only just the West and Ciara situation, some other things maybe you've seen in social media, just Love is Blind, or oh my gosh, what's that new show on Netflix? The Perfect Match, Unperfect Match, which woo! Woo! That it's very interesting. Reality dating TV is in a very interesting place right now. And yeah, but without further ado, let's jump into it. So one story I always remember reading as a kid, that you know when you do something as a kid but you don't realize how meaningful it is until you're an adult. That was this book, and it was If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. Hallelujah. Okay, but it's basically like if you give a mouse a cookie, then they'll want a glass of milk. And then it's, they'll want something else. I remember it all. I'm pretty sure that motherfucker stole their house. So little got very aggressive. Capitalism at its finest, okay? And while I think it was a cutesy story, for me, a big thing was just like, sometimes you have to watch how much someone is willing to take without like giving back in return. And I think that's happening a lot in dating. No, I take that back. That has happened a lot historically in dating. And I think with especially the resurgence of TikTok, not the resurgence, with the growth of TikTok, and especially for, in particular, like women coming forward and talking about how they're like wanting more from themselves, especially after the pandemic. I think a lot of people that didn't have partners became more intentional with wanting to date. And so you're getting people that are trying to have a high quality partner. However, you are now introducing F-boys who before were just kind of like doing that game of like, I'll just take. And now that has no longer worked, it's, I'm watching these TikTok videos about how to be emotionally available and be a giving partner. So I'm going to play this game instead and then deceive you, get what I want, and then I'm going to bounce. I think some people do it intentionally. I think some people do it unintentionally, but they are still to blame for their actions, right? They can still hold accountability, which is why sometimes people are like, he seems like such a genuine person. Which is, I'm talking about like the West and Ciara situation from Summer House. And it's very easy to fall into that trap of like, oh, no, they seem like a good person. I'm like, yeah, but like their motives are not based on you. They have these ulterior motives. They like constantly want to just feed their ego, and that will be trying to have multiple partners. Or in Wes's situation, I care more about like being able to bang followers than I do building a life that would sustain me and actually make me happy. So I'm gonna dump this Victoria's Secret model that I have no business liking because she's way out of my league. But I digress. And a big part that like I think people have confusion about, they're like, it's okay for people to date, and you're dating and you try dating and you like do different things together, and over time, like it's been a few months and you're like, I don't know, it's just, this doesn't feel like what I think it will feel like for a long-term relationship, and then wanting to break it off. That's fine, that's normal, that is completely within your right. People are saying that it is like that, I'm like, and it's not. Even in the reunion, if you haven't watched this, don't worry, it's not as important, but it is juicy, so I recommend it. It's not as important to just, but anyway, in the reunion, he says like our month-long thing, and I was like, but you were kind of dating all summer, and after the cameras went down, you were still dating. I was like, this was going on for months. You chose to, right? And it's like, he was like in an interview, oh, taking her to see my family, I don't see a big deal for me, but I know it's a big deal to her. So I'm like, so you still did it. Like, even though it wasn't a lot of weight for you, you still did something that meant a lot to her. Like, you were aware of it, but you still did it so you could get her panties. And so it's like, you do that, you take her to see your family, which, by the way, do not live close. It's not like they're like down the block, okay? They're states away, Missouri, okay? Gotta get on a plane to get there. So you do that, you go to visit your brother, also in another state. You go to, right, and it's like, it's fine if you did all these things, and then it was like, oh, that's not why it's working out. But you just didn't want to close yourself off to opportunities. That's that fuckboy in you, okay? So that is the big part that I think a lot of people are missing. That, like, he led her on in this way and gave her up just for opportunities to F other people. It wasn't because I didn't have feelings for her, or it was a fear of committal that he's using that as, one, I think that is a personal problem that he has, but also just the idea of, like, I would rather feed my ego than to feed my relationship with someone, which is so funny because I'm like, look at the long term. Like, that's not going, like, these little flings you have from people that just want to, like, bang you because you were on TV, like, that's not going to last. But you have someone that is also on TV, so, like, she doesn't need to do anything for clout. Also, she's carried herself very well across the seasons. Like, she's a Victoria's Secret model, she's a nurse, right? She's smart, she's beautiful, she's funny, she's emotionally intellectual, and she is very specific about what she wants. And even though you had this great person in front of you, it's okay if it didn't work out for whatever different reasons. You stopped it for other actions. And people are like, well, he's no like Tom Sandoval, because that whole situation, that Scandoval situation. But I was just like, there's a difference between the reason that, like, this one is hitting different, because not everyone's been in a marriage and then had their partner have an affair, but I think almost everyone really has had an F-boy situation, and people are just getting really, really tired of it. It's very triggering for a lot of people to really like someone and care about them and know that you are a good partner for them. Like, some people, you're like, it didn't work out. I'm like, I know why. Like, that's speaking for me, okay? And some other people, it's like, oh, I don't know why, because we match so well. Well, I do know why. It's because they are, they need therapy. Is this like a secret roast of myself? But, like, people can really relate to that situation. They're also really tired of seeing it on TV, right? We just had a whole season of Love is Blind with a bunch of fake people. Remember that Trevor guy that was like, can I leave now? Right? Like, there's a lot of insanity that's happening right now, and people are just really tired of it from the media standpoint. They're tired of it in their personal lives. And so I think West was really the straw that broke the camel's back for a lot of people. At the end of the day, I always like to look at these situations and figure out what is the thing that I can take away and learn and apply to my life. Like, what is the thing that I can go and say, okay, great, I see this happened. What can I do to try and prevent this from happening to me, right? Because it's hard, because they're playing the game of, I want to make you feel comfortable until I get what I want and then leave. So it's very hard to capture that. I think a good way of doing it is just being very clear, especially when you start talking to someone about, like, what they are looking for. Like, are you looking for a potential partner, or are you just looking to, like, mess around? And if they're like, I would like to just see where it goes with someone, I think that's great. I think you then have to make sure that you are, I don't think that's great. I think that's fine. Because, right, that puts you in that gray area, which is where the fuckboys love to live. That is their breeding ground. You then have to just make sure, as things go well and they progress, right? Like, oh, wow, we've been dating for a few months now. Can we have the conversation of dating exclusively? No, we can't. Or, like, no, I don't want to. Great, like, the no's are going to tell you what you need to know. The question is, are you going to listen, right? And that's always my big advice. Like, a lot of the time they want to play in the gray area, and I think after a certain amount of time, don't just come off the bat of, like, we're exclusively dating on the first date. Like, that's a lot. I ain't okay. Like, you don't need to do that. But I think it's very important that you're setting, right? People like, oh, I don't know, and I don't like labels. I think it's fine to ask for, hey, are you seeing anyone else or not? Okay, great. I would like to just be exclusive. You don't want that, and, like, it's okay to move on. But unless we start adding some barriers in, right? And it's like, again, dating used to mean, like, exclusively, but now it doesn't. You can date multiple people. I think it's great dating multiple people. At some point, you might want to date exclusively, and that's fine. You're really seeing if this would work as something more long-term. And, like, if you feel afraid of having that conversation with that person, then they're not the person to be with. Because that means you're just going to be in an uphill battle because they're either very unsure and insecure in themselves, or they're just like trying to play you along. So I think the answers you get from asking for certain things after a reasonable amount of time is going to tell you everything you need to know. And I feel like a lot of this is applicable to everyone. But there are like extra nuances of that to like gay dating. Happy Pride. Krakatawa! Bam! There we go. Now it's Happy Pride. I should have been having this from the forefront. from the forefront. I'm thirsty. Anywho, there's a lot of nuances for gay dating. And that'll be a separate video. Let's enjoy Pride before I read y'all for filth. By y'all, I also mean me. Actually, that's not true. That's not true. Because I think it used to be me, but I had it backwards. How embarrassing. I think it used to be me, but now I've done a lot of work, so don't think I have to take as many notes. Blessed be. But with that, just wanted to share my recent thoughts on that, just because it was like on my mind today. Just give you something like more light and freeform. And so we'll get back to doing some Reddit reviews and some other situation reviews very soon. But loved talking, catching up with y'all on this beautiful Friday. And I'll see you soon. Bye, darlings.